This is Poslink Listen, Living Positive Victoria's podcast by and about people living with HIV.
Hello, my name is Bo Newham from Living Positive Victoria, and welcome to Viral Stories, the podcast for our HIV positive storytelling night. This episode was recorded on the unceded lands of the Kulin Nation. Viral Stories is Australia's first ever storytelling night centering people with HIV. Join us for these incredible stories of activism, motherhood, migration, sex, love, and perseverance. Today's story is from Emily. Emily is a 43-year-old woman from Springvale who lives there with her husband, 3 beautiful strong-willed boys, 2 dogs, a parrot, and a flock of chickens. She works as a peer support worker with Positive Women Victoria, where she uses her passion for helping women living with HIV to build their confidence, to meet the challenges of HIV stigma, and to advocate for women who may not be able to have a voice on this journey we are all taking. Enjoy.
Just me, of course it's me. Okay, ready? Talk into the microphone. All right, let's do this. All right. Okay. All right. Hey, Dad. Hey, how are you going? Fancy seeing you here. God, what's it been? 35 years? Yeah, it has. I know it has. As I'm now 43 and you went and got hit by that van just before my 8th birthday. Remember that day? Well, this is how I remember it. You were trying to get to work at the lead light shop in Brighton on public transport, as this was all we had. It was a really foggy morning and the trains were all on strike. You had to walk from Broadmeadow Station all the way to Glenroy because that's where the trains were going from. Now when I think about it, that's a bloody long way. It's like you were running a marathon, but you were happy walking. I remember we walked everywhere. Anyway, there was apparently no footpath and you had to walk on the road in the gutter, which I assume you thought would be safe. But bam, a fucking van hits you from behind and takes you out, like straight out. Did it bloody hurt? Or was it that quick you were thinking, what the fuck just happened? And you were out like a light. Mum always said you weren't too messed up though. You weren't there anymore. She says it wasn't you, that you were just gone. When you were laying there in that hospital bed, she accepted that turning off the machines was the right thing to do. Well, anyway, I've missed you. It's good to see you. Let me make us a cup of tea and I'll fill you in on what I've been up to since you went and died on me. Life has been pretty shit, to be honest, and I feel like the day you died is the day that Mum went to, really. Don't get me wrong, she tried, she really did, but she just wasn't there anymore, really. She did try to keep me, Tegan and Mitchell on the straight and narrow as much as she could. She made sure we finished our high school years, taught us right from wrong, and made sure to inflict as much of her hippie music on us as she could. I still can't listen to Neil Young to this day. She made sure to raise us to believe that we should never take no for an answer and that we are always right no matter what anyone else says or thinks. But she did keep using drugs and getting up to her other shitty business. She was blown away when I told her I was HIV positive. She couldn't believe that could happen to me. How could I, her young, innocent daughter, have that happen to her? She was the junkie, the one that should have got, not me. But I guess after that happened to you, she needed some luck on her side. You know, Mum always said that if you hadn't died, I would have grown up and spoiled and turned into a broady slut with 6 kids. So thanks for that. I suppose if there's one good thing to come from this, I'll take it. Well, I didn't become the town slut, but I did end up in love and becoming a mother. Just like everything you went through, it wasn't an easy ride. I've had some crazy shit happen along the way. I met this guy who just happened to be my boyfriend's best mate. He was tall, skinny, good looking, and a smart ass. He reminded me a lot of you. So anyway, I fell for him, broke up with the boyfriend, and off I went to profess my love for his mate. The mate fell for it, and we started dating, got engaged, and one day I said to him I wanted to have babies. He then said to me that if I did, we would have to be married. So I organised a wedding within 3 months and made it happen. Yeah, thank you. I worked in events, so. It was a great wedding, if I do say so myself. We got married in Queen's Park, where we used to go with Pop. You know the park with the big lake and the ducks and those big army cannons we used to sit on as kids? We used to laugh because we couldn't get down. Yeah, I got married there by a celebrant dressed as Elvis. Pop walked me down the aisle to Billy Idol's white wedding. It was great, but it would have been better if you were there and could have walked me down the aisle. Nan kept banging on about getting your brother to do it instead of Pop, but your brother's a dick and has not been there for us one bit. So that was not going to happen anyway. Where was I? Oh yeah, so we got married and I went to the doctors to have my bloods done to check if I was healthy enough to have a baby. I wanted to make sure, then do the right things. Anyway, I had my bloods done and they came back, and it turns out I was HIV positive. The doctors said that it was probably not a good idea to get pregnant, but what they didn't realise that with me and Marty, if we walk past each other and say we want to have a baby, I pretty much got pregnant. Very, very fertile people. So this all happened pretty quickly This all happened pretty quickly to mind you, as our next appointment about my HIV was in a hospital, and we had to break the news to them that I was pregnant. The doctors were good about it, and it ended up being okay in the end, and I've gone on to have, I've had that one and then another 2 healthy pregnancies. That's how I got this beautiful body. I'm now the mum to 3 beautiful boys who are full of mischief, smart, funny, and good little dudes. You would love them. They have all arrived in the last 12 years, so they are all a handful too. So this motherhood gig is pretty hard. In fact, I think it's one of the hardest jobs I've ever had. I didn't realise that feeding, bathing, entertaining tiny humans could be hard, especially when I'm expected as a woman to be able to do this naturally, and with these without going insane. It's just bullshit. It's impossible. I like how all the mums just laughed. It's impossible. And then to work, be a good wife, and if I can, keep my shit together after all this and be a good human. Well, I can tell you, I haven't been able to do all these things together, but I am ticking them off the list one by one as life goes on. Hey, do you want to hear a story about the boys? This one time, that's what my boys say when they start a story. That's why I put that in, so it's a little in-house joke, sorry. This one time, I had put 2 of them in the bath. They would have been like 3 or 4, and I went off to deal with the baby, and I came back in, and the little shits had filled the whole bath with toilet rolls. Like the whole packet. I walked in, and all I could do was go, ah, and scream and swear, I suppose. I was so shocked. Huh? Yeah, and I screamed, Marty! There were these 2 little dudes sitting with a grin from ear to ear in the middle of this white, papery sludge. There was no water left. It had turned into this sludgy, jelly-like matter. It was fucked, really fucked. He's still even acting it out. Marty came in and pretty much did the same thing as me, and then grabbed a beer and a sieve and then proceeded to scoop the contents out into a bucket so it wouldn't block the drain. So yeah, this motherhood thing is fun. It's real fun. But you know what? I think I probably wanted to have kids because of you, because of all the adventures that we used to have. I loved how I was your little sidekick in everything you did. I remember walking through the paddocks with you to get to the train station so you could go score. We would go past the athletic track and you would make me run around it and tell me how fast I was and how I would be a great athlete one day. But other times we would go to work. We would travel all the way from Broady over to Brighton to go to the lead light shop. Now that I have a sense of direction and I know Melbourne, that was a long fucking way for us to go. On public transport too, so you could get to work. I guess though it was doing something that you loved and it was a wage to feed us. You want to know something funny? My hubby grew up in Brighton and remembers the lead light shop. He used to go to the toy shop across the road too, like we did. What a small world. And yes, it's pretty funny that me, a Broady girl, married a Brighton boy. I remember us going to all those footy games up at Windy Hill. Go the Bombers. Yes. And standing on my box with you and Pop and watching the game. Then once again, that long bloody walk back to the station and home again. It's even just the little things like teaching me to use cutlery while eating pizza, boiling fresh yabbies in a pot, helping me with Lego and drawing pictures. Apart from that one time, I'd spent ages drawing a horse and you came along and drew a poo coming out of its bum. You thought it was hilarious, and so did Mum. But I was in tears because you had ruined my picture. Now when I think about it, it's pretty funny, and I probably would do the same thing to my kids as a joke. I think they have your sense of humour. I think it's all of these things we did, and possibly even you dying and me having to step up and be a mum to Mitch and Teggy, that has made me the fucking rad mum that I am today and helped me to be able to do this and so much more. The spirit clock tells me we are running out of time, so I need to say goodbye to you once more. But before you go, it was shitty not having you around and not having you there for all of the first things and not even having you now. The boys ask about you a lot, what you were like, what you looked like, and sometimes what your name was again and who you were. I feel like I'm in a game and they're trying to trick me, and sometimes I can't answer their funny, harmless questions because it hurts too much to think about you and what I've missed, and even what they have missed, what they are missing by not having you there. I wonder what they would have called you. You couldn't have been a Pop, as your dad was Pop. Maybe you could have been a Pa, or as the boys would say, maybe he could have been Poo-Poo Head Pa. See, this is cosmic revenge for you drawing poos on my horse. Okay, I'm going to let you go. You need to go back to Mum. I'm glad you finally are back together. I hope she is happy and dancing around like a hippie and you guys are having a rad time together. What exactly can you score in heaven? Actually, don't tell me. Thanks for being such a good dad and for helping me to raise my boys like you raised us. It was a life full of fun, adventures, and a give-no-fuck attitude to life. I carry that energy with me to this day. Love you, Dad, and tell Mum I love her too.
Viral Stories was made possible with the support of the City of Melbourne Connected Communities Grant. Viral Stories is hosted by Living Positive Victoria, who have been representing people with HIV in Victoria since 1988.
So that was the first of 6 viral stories in this first Poslink Listen series. For more information about what we do at Living Positive Victoria, head to our website www.livingpositivevictoria.org.au.